Hello, FYS students. I wanted to go through an example here, giving you all this information about writing a good paper here for your second sort of formal writing in FYS. And I wanted to do this here just so that you always have it to refer back to as you go through writing your draft and the final version of your paper. So remember, your paper is addressing these questions: what is AI, where does it succeed, and where does it fail? Using some public AI model or models and the Janelle Shane book, You Look Like a Thing and I Love You, and really trying to weave those together to tell, make some argument about AI and where it is. You've now had a lot of experience playing with different AIs, learning a little bit about how they work. So the goal here is to make some argument for people who have not had this experience working with AIs, right? You sort of remember what you thought of AI maybe coming into this class and how it's changed, what things that you didn't think it could do before that it can do, or places that it fails that you wouldn't have thought of beforehand. So that's the idea behind this paper. So again, that first thing is really, what is your thesis? So a good thesis should be making some specific argument, and you'll need to back it by a lot of specific evidence from the book, examples from your public AI model, other sources, articles and things that are showing different places that AI is succeeding or different ways AI has failed. Again, integrating all those different sources. I'm just going to go through a few different examples of what may or may not be good theses. None of these are theses that you need to or want to use. I just came up with these sort of on the spot. Some of them are good, some of them are maybe less good, but just the kind of things that might be a good starting point for what your thesis should be. So here's some examples. So one argument you could make is that AIs could soon replace humans in low-level writing jobs. That's a specific argument, and then your paper is going to have to talk about how that works. How are AIs actually able to do that task, and how will they replace humans? If you notice, I did leave a bit of a hedge in here. I said low-level writing jobs. So an implication there is that high-level writing, AI might not be well suited for that. So, writing a beautiful sonnet or an entire play, maybe AIs are not going to be better than humans at that task right now. But, this is a very positive thesis, saying AIs are going to really take over in this area, and I'm going to explain why. You still are going to have to address the fact that there are places where AI fails. I have a little bit of that hedge in terms of the low level here, but you can have a very positive thesis saying, here's all the ways AI is going to succeed, and then address some of the failures and say, well, yes, obviously there's some places where it fails, but overall it's really exciting and is going to succeed in all these different. So even if you have a very positive or very negative sort of overall thesis, you'll still address both the places that it's really good and the places that it fails, no matter what sort of overall tone your thesis strikes. Okay, so here's another one. Behind the scenes, AIs have transformed what we read, watch, and buy online, but there are many tasks which AIs are currently poorly suited for. I don't know, maybe currently and poorly is bad. I probably need to edit that a little bit, but again, I just wrote these on the spot. So, okay, so what is this sort of thesis, right? Here we've got sort of the yin and the yang, both the positive and the negative together in one thesis statement here, right? AIs have transformed what we read, watch, and buy online. So in that section, I can talk a lot about, all the places that AI is in recommendation engines, in the YouTube algorithms, right? I've got a lot of examples from the book to use, and I've got a lot of places that I can cite how the AIs work, why they do so well when you have so much data to feed them and they're doing very specific tasks, right? I don't know, this is a pretty easy thesis to argue for. There's a lot of good evidence from the book and some of our videos and things like that. But there are many tasks which AIs are currently poorly suited for. And so maybe if I did the visual chatbot, that visual chatbot where you can ask it any question that you want is just a really, really difficult task. And so maybe I'm going to fill in the visual chatbot examples to say, well, the visual chatbot can do okay when I give it very specific on-task questions, very closely related to what it was probably trained on. But whenever I ask it about giraffes or something that a human would find a very easy question, the AI just completely fails. And so that's where you can sort of get at some of that AI weirdness and AI failures mode. So again, a lot of different potential things you could argue here. Just sort of try to come up with something interesting and try to back it up. You can always modify it later as you go through looking for evidence, but if you have something sort of specific and clear that you want to argue for, that will really make your paper sort of stronger and more coherent as you go searching through those different examples and looking for things from the book to back it up with. Okay, a couple more. With the tremendous amount of data available online, AIs excel at narrow specialized tasks, but can fail in weird, troubling, and perplexing ways whenever they encounter something new. Again, that's a pretty down the middle sort of thesis statement, right? These narrow specialized tasks are areas where the AI is going to really succeed. And then I've also got the places that it fails, all right there together in one thesis. I don't know, not incredibly strong in terms of the stance that it's taking, but it gets the job done maybe. These narrow specialized tasks, maybe I should be more specific there, but I can think about lots of good examples of narrow specialized tasks that AIs succeed at. And again, lots of ways where whenever they encounter something new, they're going to fail in these troubling ways, right? We could talk about the different biases in AIs and, or self-driving cars and some of the crashes and things like that. Lots of places that I can go with that. I don't know, maybe not the best thesis, but it at least gets at, it's making an argument at least, and we could hone that more as we go along. Okay, another one, AIs hold enormous promise to make our lives better, but could also do enormous harm through malice or negligence. In this essay, I'll explain why failing to recognize the signs of AI doom can have catastrophic consequences. So again, this one holds out sort of the promise, right? Here's the positives about AI, and I can talk about that there. And then maybe I really thought those AI doom signs were something that was really interesting to me and really something I want to explain and tie into my different examples. So I'm going to talk about those catastrophic consequences. Again, lots of chances to talk about, bias or places that the AIs really fail and cause problems for, human health or well-being. I could talk about the Tay.ai Microsoft chatbot, lots of different things that I could talk about, recognizing those signs of AI doom. One more example thesis. While many existing AIs match or exceed human performance only in narrowly targeted tasks, AIs will continue to impact more and more areas of our lives going forward. I don't know, this is my fifth one. This one isn't necessarily amazing. This more and more areas of our lives going forward is a little vague, but again, it sort of gets at that idea of that sort of balance between, this is sort of what AI has currently, and, maybe there's a broadening array of these things that AIs are going to be able to do over time as the AIs get sort of smarter and smarter as we feed them more and more data. The way this is framed, this is making a little bit more of a positive argument that AIs are really having a huge, huge impact, but still acknowledging that there are all of these problems with existing AIs. So again, getting at that sort of the balance, the both sides of that as well. Okay, so I hope that's helpful for thinking through, just make some argument. You can always hone it as you go along. But be specific about what your thesis is actually arguing for. Really can be almost anything you want related to AI, as long as you sort of state it clearly and can back it up with some evidence. Okay, the introduction. Again, just like the last paper, you want to start with some sort of hook. Avoid that's not formal enough. What kind of hook? Again, you're a college student, so if I look online here, hooks for essays. Here I've got pulled that up on Google. Here's some strategies for writing an essay hook. This is just the very first result. Are these the best examples? Maybe not, but they're at least something. So you could use, literary quotes here might not be the ideal one, but you sort of get the idea here. Use a misconception. That can really be good, again, to sort of surprise the reader. Lots of different things you could do here. These are not the best. Search for hooks online. Again, here, a lot of it is, if you think back to the sort of, that misconception is a really powerful one in this case, because there's all those contrasts between what people think AI is and what AI actually is. So that's a really good source of examples. You could also start with, quotes from a famous person. So those could be good if you find the right quotes, right? You could think about different contrasting visions of what AI is going to be going forward, right? Some people who think it's, could be, sort of too smart and lead to really negative consequences for that reason, or all of the sort of AI is not smart enough issues that Janelle Shane argues for in the book. And then your introduction should really end with that thesis statement. So again, describing your main argument, a sentence or two. You can use I here if that's useful to you in this essay. I will argue that that's fine, or you don't have to, or you can just state your thesis as is, and you'll back it up as is. So that's sort of that introduction and thesis of your paper.